Hi, AJ Hartley here, novelist, Shakespeare professor, performance theorist and historian, I guess. And last night I did a talkback lecture on a new film called Grand Theft Hamlet.
Go,
yes?
go, do it now.
Okay. We are putting on a production of Hamlet in GTA Online for the first time ever. We are looking for actors, so come and audition. Please try to stop us. You can't stop our Oh. They got me. Oh my God, they're really coming down now, look.
I thought I would share a couple of thoughts here, not a version of that lecture, but just a kind of mini review to sort of prompt you to see if you want to go see it. The film was made during the pandemic in the UK, and it's shot entirely within the game Grand Theft Auto, and it follows a handful of actors and director as they attempt to put on a live production of Shakespeare's Hamlet within the game of Grand Theft Auto. The entire documentary is shot within the game, so you only ever see the characters as their in-game avatars. And it traces the germination of this idea as a kind of desperate attempt to make something when all the theaters were closed, actors couldn't work, and people were bouncing off the walls. The director has literally nothing else. And the main actor is struggling to sort of figure out how to keep his family alive and fed. And they increasingly spend so much time within the game that it causes various sort of fractures within their personal lives. I think part of what makes this project interesting is its surprising blending of things that don't appear to go together, something which if you watch this channel, you know that I'm often interested in. In this case, it's the juxtaposition both of Hamlet in the original language, in a cut, edited script, within the game of Grand Theft Auto. And that represents not just a clash of genres and forms, it also represents a clash of high and low culture as we might perceive it today. Or to put it another way, literary or elite culture and popular culture. That's part of what makes the product interesting, because it serves as a kind of tester to see whether these things work. And in certain respects, of course, they don't at all. And in others, it's actually quite surprisingly resonant and rich.
To be or not to be, that is the question.
You're welcome to audition if you want. You're crazy, no?
Okay, don't shoot us, please.
Whether to nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or to take arms against the sea of trouble.
The film itself is occasionally quite funny, sometimes bleakly funny, because they are attempting to do something crazy within a world which is essentially hostile. People play this game because they want to shoot people and steal cars and drive crazy into accidents and all that sort of stuff. And that's going on around them all the time. And they're attempting to contain that. And as a person who's been involved in making theater for a long time, this really resonates as something that theater is kind of always doing, right? The struggles to find actors, to cast parts and deal with their schedules and all the sort of the crazy things that happen, and the difficulties of making live performance art in a world which is often not interested in it, that has to be sort of lured in, has to be convinced that what you're doing has value, and which is often quite sort of hostile or dismissive, And of course that's going to happen in a setting like this.
No one's going to come.
No one cares.
It's not a real thing.
It's real to me.
Oh, hang on.
Someone's here.
Whoa.
Hi.
That's quite an entrance.
You can call me Star.
I'm Jen.
I'm Tilly.
I'm Defoe. My name's Gareth.
While you're doing your dance move, try saying to be or not to be, that is the question.
I think as they point out in the film, one of the reasons that it's not entirely inappropriate is because that's kind of what Hamlet is about too, right? It's a play obsessed with making theatre, but it's also a play that is driven by existential rumination within a framework of extreme violence, within a storyline and a culture which is driven by, of course, revenge tragedy, which is an extremely bloody and destructive genre. So there's a kind of logic to watching this play out. And of course, you know, the play text of Hamlet becomes a kind of medium. It's not like we're trying to do Hamlet and present that as a thing to the people of Grand Theft Auto. That's clearly never going to work. So the film increasingly becomes about the attempt to forge community within the people making the theatre piece, connecting with each other, and hopefully finding some kind of audience to connect with. And then, of course, the film is the expanse of that, of taking this very, very small, quirky little thing that happened during the pandemic and trying to present it to the world as a kind of study in what theatre art is, what new forms we might be able to utilize as theatres are continually struggling to survive, many going under, and of course many went under completely during the pandemic. So the idea of doing things like this within a shared virtual space like Grand Theft Auto is in some ways, you know, a gesture towards other possibilities of performance and art to come, and a way of taking an existing game where there are not rules exactly, but expectations for how you play, and completely turning those on their head and turning it into an arena for actual creative work. I think it's kind of fascinating.
Look, my lord, it comes.
It's like Shakespeare on $1 billion budget.
Cops are here.
Maybe he's a purist.
At times, the film is, as I said, it's funny, but that's also not inappropriate. Hamlet's actually quite a funny play, but it's also bleak and sad and touching and sort of heartfelt, which I was kind of surprised by.
We just keep coming across these people who want to help us. That gives me hope that what we're trying to do is possible.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Grand Theft Hamlet.
The production won awards just because it happened, not because the production of itself is a particularly insightful or brilliant production of Hamlet. I don't think that's the issue. But I do think that the production was able to find resonance and meaning in the Shakespearean text in ways that I think people find sort of surprising, that they managed to make it speak through this medium. And as I say, these things that don't seem to go together but do are the heart of what makes this work. And then the documentary, of course, massively expands the audience and gets us to think about art as process in a world which frequently doesn't want it. And as I've said before, at the moment, I think that's a very powerful idea, that a lot of the art that we need, much of the culture doesn't want. And this shows the difficulties of fighting back, because this is art is how we mediate our experience of the world. It's what gives us purpose. The film is now streaming on Mobi, M-O-B-I, and I believe you can also get it through Amazon Prime. There may be other places to get it too. Some of them have a 7-day free trial, so you can check it out there if you don't want to subscribe. It's only been out since the end of February. It's also making the rounds in certain independent film festivals and such, which is the context in which I saw it and talked about it last night. So, if you're interested in Shakespeare, if you're interested in video games, if you're interested in movies, or if you're interested in watching people struggle to do something that's kind of ridiculous and impossible, but doing it for each other, doing it to create a sense of of community, artistic community, but just connection between people generally. I think, it's worth watching. I enjoyed it. That's all I'm going to say. As ever, please like, comment, subscribe, check out my books, check out my Patreon page, and as ever, thank you to my patrons who make this channel possible. Check out my Dashery store for merchandise, and that's it. I will talk to you soon. If you see the film, feel free to comment on it here. Cheers. Bye.